It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. And this, I believe, is the first time I can officially say that we're on the line this morning with Philip Martell, who is the superintendent of the River Valley School District. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Good morning.
Good morning, Todd. Actually, perfect day, first official day, as you mentioned.
Yeah, how about that? Which probably means it's a really busy day for you. On a day such as today, it's almost good that you got rain and you can't be distracted from all these different things you have on the plate, huh?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's going to be a busy summer. I think the perception a lot of times with the general public is that, nothing gets done in education over the summer. And that, as I always tell my administrators, that's the furthest thing from the truth. It's really when we get the bulk of what we need to get done without students being here, in preparation for a normal school year. But now this being, the gigantic normal first school year for our school district.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So there's one thing that we have to get out of the way, and I know what the answer is going to be because, well, it's the answer that you have to give. The lawsuit moving forward now in Indiana County Court, school district response due today, and I know there's not a lot you can say about it, but anything that you can today.
As I said from the beginning, the lawyers kind of have to do their thing. We're doing our thing moving forward. Obviously, the federal court thought very strongly about the process that we performed here for the school district. I'm just hoping that the state level courts will see the same merit in what we did and what we're trying to do for our students. But we're moving forward, and we'll see. And hopefully have this other situation rectified at the beginning of the month.
All right. So that being the case, you've got a lot of work, as you said, to get done here. Let's start from the educational angle and consolidating two school staffs into one. How is that work going from an educational standpoint, a faculty standpoint?
We're actually, I feel, by having to go through this process, Todd, we've actually kind of gotten further ahead than they have in normal school years. Our master schedule is pretty much complete, which sometimes it was late August, right before the start of the school year. At the beginning of June, we actually gave our teachers, the confined staff, their classroom assignments, their parking spots. So, we're ahead of schedule on a normal school year, but that's a good thing. And in my mind, it's where we should be in any normal year. So we're kind of just bumping up our game a little bit there. But then the final step is obviously just getting the building ready. We have some minor tweaks that we're doing now. Obviously, we have our gyms that are being done and just some of the classrooms being reconfigured, but nothing major. Obviously, but there's a lot of logistical work that goes into this, and I kind of joked about it with the board. I said, when you make a decision like this, you may think the vote is the most difficult thing to do, but it's really what happens after this type of action it's taken.
When you have so many new faces in one building, obviously that it takes some getting used to. Have the faculties of the Saltsburg and the Blairsville schools had much opportunity to work together in summer times in the past? In other words, are they that familiar with each other, or is it a get acquainted type of thing?
I think it's a little bit of both. I will tell you that there has been, and I know there has been some professional development before I got here, but now our professional development is really kind of it's ramped up itself because of the nature of what we want to do educationally. So getting that staff acquainted during this summer with some of the educational components we're going to be introducing, but also some of them have dealt with each other over the years, but some have not. So we're doing some things to make sure that transition is as smooth as possible. And the Teachers Association has been fantastic, with accommodating us on certain requests and that. So I can't thank them enough.
Duplication of curriculum obviously had to be dealt with right off the bat. How has that gone?
It's gone well, and I will tell you that's been the biggest charge that I've given my team is we will be consistent what we will do in this district from here on out, because that was not the case. The curriculum, you had curriculum in silos by each side of the district. You had inequity built in the coursework. That's not the case anymore, and that's really why I believe strongly in the plan that we put forth, because it brought equity to the educational component. So every student has the same opportunities no matter what side of the district, but now coming together will have the same opportunities to choose from. And that has to be that way, and not just here, but in public education in general.
Philip Martell, our guest, the superintendent of the new River Valley School District. Website is up and debuted as well. Is it always going to be b-ssd.org as in the past, or is that going to change too?
That is going to change. We're actually going to switch over. Our tech department has been chartered. We're actually going to do that fairly soon. There's certain technical ways that we're going to switch over, but they'll still utilize that address somehow to forward to our new addresses. It's all the stuff that's way above my pay grade, Todd. But they're getting that process done now. So the students will also have student staff and all of our employees will have new email addresses, and they'll have a new .org address as well.
I know as well, and you've said this in the past, that it's going to be a summer-long process to design bus routes that are going to be the best, and maybe even into the year you'll find something that works and something that does not, and you'll have to make changes. So that work, I assume, is ongoing?
It's ongoing because, the biggest challenge, and I'm sure you've seen too from other districts, there's the lack of bus drivers in our not just in our region, but in our country.
Yeah.
The city of Pittsburgh schools had to cancel 3/4 of their summer programs because of the lack of drivers. So working with, our bus company to be able to find, accommodate those routes, but also we have to take into effect now that the fact that if they don't have drivers, then that also could have a role on what type of runs we establish. So you're right. It's an ongoing, it's going to be an ongoing process until the driver shortage is resolved.
Yeah. You use Smith, don't you?
We do use Smith Bus, yes.
Yeah, and of course they're also in other districts here in Indiana County. So working with them has to be a really, really intricate process. I mean, those folks, they've got the expertise on the actual moving of the students, and you've got what needs you have. That coordination has to be pretty tight, doesn't it?
It does, because we've given them, as I said before, I listened during the 780 hearings and that, just some of the concerns to our Saltsburg, the Saltsburg residents and so forth. And I've given them specific guidelines I'd like to see based on, some of the concerns of the residents, because I don't want to see that happen. So it's been ongoing. It's back and forth. It's daily. We're hoping to have something that we can introduce here to the board at the curriculum meeting in July to talk about some of the bus runs. But to your point, they're going to be tweaked as well, going into the school year.
One of the most important aspects of a school district is the way that its athletic teams serve as a sort of an identifier and that pride point within the district. Now, I know with Blairsville and Saltsburg teams having been combined, many of them in the past, there are still some teams that have remained separated. Now everybody's coming together. That athletic process has been an ongoing thing as well. We've watched as coaches have been named, athletic director is in place now, and all of the facilities that have to be worked on. Let's talk about athletics and how they're developing over this summer.
We feel really good where we're at. We had to get a jump start with the athletic programs, but I will tell you that, and the biggest thing through this whole transition, Todd, not just about the athletics but everything else, the kids, it's not an issue with the kids. They've been playing with each other for years. They've been friends for years. So watching that transition happen has been it's been a plus, and I've been very pleased, to see that happen. But we've given, our coaches guidelines as far as what we want to see. We're introducing a new coaches code of conduct, student and parent athletic handbooks. Like we're transforming ourselves as a district. But I mean, getting the kids together, that's been probably the easiest thing. It's more the parents at times than our students.
Yeah, got shiny new uniforms for everybody too, right?
We do. We're going to look very good. We're going to look very different, and we believe our teams are going to perform very well now coming together. So that's what we're kind of excited about as well, because I had an old mentor of mine tell me that a good football team sets the tone for a school year. So not to put too much pressure on Coach Hauser, but I know him and his staff. He's got a great staff. They'll do well with our students.
Well, a big part of that as well is the marching band. We can't let them aside because that sound, you've got two schools now combined into one big band. That should be pretty good.
Yeah, they'll be outstanding, and Mr. Lyons will do a great job, and we're getting them the uniforms as well, so they will look great. So yeah, we're looking forward to and having them grow as well to be representative, all over for us.
Yeah. We've heard questions about the use of the football stadiums here in the fall, including rumors that it will be split between Blairsville and Saltsburg. and that it will be all Blairsville, and the adequacy of the stadiums to handle this new team in this new district. Talk about the football stadium itself and what the plans are for getting into this football season and using the facilities within the district.
We have, that is one of the things I identified early on in my plan, as far as, we have to make certain accommodations. One of the things, obviously we're late in the game from a stadium perspective, but there's certain things we're going to do to address at Blairsville Stadium, which we will be playing, those games in Blairsville this year. But moving forward, we're going to commission a study to look at a new joint athletic facility that'll really meet the needs of our district now. The district's been very fortunate not to be carrying a lot of debt over the years, so we believe we have the ability, if we want, with money being very reasonable today, to look and commission a study to involve the stakeholders to say, okay, what would meet the needs of our students, whether it would be here on campus or maybe on, down in Blairsville at the stadium. Those are the things we have to get worked out in the next, after the school year starts, because I think we need that in the future, and I think a lot of the board members do as well.
Yeah. Okay. Only a moment left here with Philip Martell, the superintendent at River Valley School District, which is newly the River Valley School District as of today officially. People have questions, and those questions will go on for quite some time. If someone has a specific question for a specific administrator or for a specific committee, what's the best way for them to get their questions answered?
Really, I would start if it's a building level, our building level principals are very responsive, but at the end of the day, if they cannot get a hold of someone, they need to just contact my office, and I will make sure that they either get the information they have or direct them to the person that will provide it for them.
All right. A lot of work to do over the summer, and you and the folks within the district are going to be the ones that have to do it. We'll watch by the sidelines here and watch this all develop. Philip Martell, thanks so much for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.